I think maybe I relate to those kind of characters because of my job and because of who I am and because I've done it so long. So I've been blessed to play many different versions of officers, detectives, SWAT officers, whatever. And my take on Dan is that he's a lot like myself.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Andrew Jacob Brown with Confound Productions, and I am here with my guy, Rick Bickel. I love to say it.
Not the NASCAR driver.
NASCAR driver. Welcome to Actors on After, guys. So, Rick, man, I like to just dive in head first. But first, let me tell the audience a little something here. What I found interesting is, when you did your audition, you actually did two auditions you did two characters.
I did.
And I thought you crushed both of them. And then I had Jason, who was on the show, the first episode. He watched your audition, and we were like, man, this Rick guy, he's got to be the happiest guy on the planet. You are so professional.
Thank you.
You were such a nice guy, man, and I wanted to highlight that right out the gate. And then when you nailed your audition, you had the whole police uniform get up for Chief Olive, and I thought, man, this guy, he's got costumes and stuff. This guy's what's up with this guy? And then come to find out, you're an actual police officer.
23 years,
so,
yeah.
What a blessing, man, to get a guy like you who acts, knows that side of that life. And so, anyways, I wanted to say that right out the gate, man.
Yeah. I was kind of when you guys called me on the Zoom and we were talking, and you said, "Oh, you're still wearing your costume."
I didn't put it together, man. I just didn't think, But I have to say, man, if I were to get pulled over by a police officer, I'd want it to be you. You'd probably write me a ticket with a smile. I'm serious. I thought your demeanor was really, really contagious, man. And I love that professionalism that you have.
Thank you.
First thing you said was, "Hey, I'm Rick Bickel," and you said, I hope you're having a great day. I know I am. Man, I already like this guy.
Hey, every day that I'm on this earth is a blessing. You know what I mean? So I try to take full advantage and give as much positivity as I can. Sometimes we know it's not easy, right? Some days, but I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy to be doing what I love, and I get to help people. I get to play make believe.
Yeah.
So I'm just a happy guy in general.
I love that, and I love that, man. And that's why I'm just going to jump in. I want to ask you, if you can tell us a little bit about how you got started in acting, especially now that I know that you're a police officer. Just tell me how you made that transition, and what was it? I know there's got to be a moment where you were like, "I'm bitten by that bug. I want to do this acting thing."
Oh,
absolutely. Even if it is on the side,
Absolutely. So obviously, with my career, my day job, if you will, I have, unfortunately, the times that I've been in front of the camera at that job isn't always the best experience, because it's usually something bad has happened, right?
Yeah.
And thankfully, they were only a few and far between. But I had a health incident in January of 2022, and I had always wanted to be an actor. And I found myself laying in a hospital bed. And while I was laying in that hospital bed, I was thinking to myself, there's so much that I still want to do in this life, and that I've always wanted to do. And it could have ended today. So very realistically, could have ended. And I thought at that point, that was the lowest point of my life. And I prayed and I prayed. And later that year, my father passed away. And so that year was really rough for me, but it opened my eyes. And it was like God told me, if you're going to do it, do it. Stop waiting. And I just happened to be, of all places, on social media. And I ran across a talent agency.
Okay.
And I thought, well, I never had a clue how to get into the business before. Here's an opportunity. And I thought, could be a scam, could be legit. So I hit them up, and it turned out it was a legit acting school. And they were just kind of cutting out the middleman and kind of, looking for people that just they wanted to work with.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, hey, let's give it a shot. So I hit them up. They told me the deal. They sent me something to go over to kind of rehearse, and they wanted me to audition, to make sure that I was somebody that they can believe in, Yeah. And I did so. And out of all the people that signed up, they called me back. And of course, I was dumbfounded. And
you're like, you talking about me?
So next thing you know, I was like, let me look into this thing. With the internet being what it is now, the world really is at your fingertips. Mm-hmm. So I am one of those people that I want to do it the right way, but I also want to do it myself from the ground up. A lot of times we see actors, in the independent scenes and stuff. One of the first questions they'll ask, who's your agent? Well, I always responded with, you're looking at it. Who's your manager? You're looking at it. Because I want to know how to do it from the bottom floor up. So when that time comes, when I decide to make that decision, then guess what? I know how to do everything there is to do within reason.
That's awesome.
And it's kind of hard for people to, jerk me around. And so I started seeking out casting calls and started submitting for different things. And July of that year, before my father passed, I started filming just about everything you can think of. No matter how big or small at first, just to get set experience, the extra thing, the background thing. Yeah. Next thing you know, I started getting some print modeling stuff, and then I started doing some small commercials, and it just took off from there. And I've been learning and growing, and I'm truly blessed to be involved in all of this, and I love it. So to answer your question, when did I get bit by the bug? The very first time I auditioned for the talent agency, to kind of, the process of having to memorize, and not just memorize, but memorize and top down memory, so it's second nature, to be able to act and create that character. The first time I did that, it was a wrap. I was done.
That was it.
Yeah,
that was it.
Been going ever since.
You mentioned something, and you feel free to say if you don't feel like sharing, but you did say you had a health scare.
Right.
Would you mind sharing maybe what that was?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Sometimes I'd like to get to know you a little bit.
Right. Well, it may help save somebody.
That's
heart conditions run in my family on both sides. And, I'm 44 years old.
Same.
And at the time, I was 42. Now, you can understand my day job being what it is. Heart disease and things run rampant in my career, my day job. And one night, I didn't get a lot of sleep, and I woke up in extreme pain with down the back of my shoulder blades. And I was short of breath, and it was such an intense pain. I had tears streaming down my cheeks. And I sat up in my bed, kind of caught my breath, and everything seemed fine again. It was gone.
Yeah.
So I thought, I just pulled a muscle, or, didn't sleep enough. I'm getting old, whatever the case may be. And so being stubborn, like most of us men are, right?
Sure.
I got up, put my uniform on, and I went to work. And I noticed when I got to work, I didn't quite have the energy that I normally have. The smiling, bubbly, making people laugh. I was just kind of, Eeyore, man, just kind of dragging across the parking lot,
Oh.
And later that day, I had a good friend of mine who knew me very well. And he shout out Scotty Newland, one of my best friends in the world. Okay. And he told me, he said, look, man, if you don't go to the doctor, I'm calling some family. Because, and I was like, all right.
That's a friend right there.
I just wanted to I was being stubborn. I just kind of wanted to see if it would work itself out. Because I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
I'm stubborn, but not too stubborn. If I know it's serious enough, obviously I'm going to go to the doctor, but I thought it was something minor. Well, turns out the next morning, because I was stubborn. I waited till the next day. I got up and I drove myself to the emergency room, and I'm not going to lie, I felt fine all the way there. I got out of my truck. I made it about halfway to the doors, and I almost collapsed. And when I got inside, I told the lady behind the counter, because they saw this was, COVID was a thing, and you had to put your forehead on the thermometer and all that, and all these steps before you go in. I walked past all of that. And as I got to the counter, the lady's eyes were like this big. And she's like, "Oh my God, honey, are you okay?" I'm like, "I think I had a heart attack." And she said, "When?" And I said, "Yesterday morning." What they did is they snatched me immediately back to triage. And being, a police officer for 23 years, when they put me on the heart monitor, I looked up at it and was like, I was in full-on AFib, and I had no idea. So I didn't have the blockage. There's two different names for it. NSTEMI, NSTEMI, and then there's a STEMI, STEMI. And I didn't have the blockage kind of heart attack. I had the AFib, heart's in a full-on panic mode kind of heart attack. So when we did the heart cath, thankfully they went in. There was no blockages. I'm a heavy guy. I'm a big guy, but I do eat healthy, and I do take care of myself. But it's just one of those things that I wasn't sleeping well, and I'd been burning the candle at both ends for a while, and my heart said,
We could all be guilty of that. We could all.
But I am good to go now. I've made some changes, and through the grace of God, guiding the scientists and doctors in this world, the medications we have are amazing, and I am.
I appreciate you so much for sharing that. We've had a couple people on here that have shared some health scares and some things, and I think that I love to hear that stuff, because when you were sharing that just right off the bat, you're like, "Oh, I went in the hospital," and then I started thinking about acting, and I was like, "Oh man, like we got to dive deeper into that," because that you just displayed for a lot of people watching, like you appreciate life coming out of that.
Absolutely.
And now I can see that. Basically what I'm saying is I can see that was a changing point for you.
Oh yeah.
You went in head first, dived in head first for the acting thing.
Oh yeah.
And I imagine many other things, your outlook on life. And I'm like, man, that's something. I have a dear friend of mine in Oregon, one of my first martial art instructors, and he had the same thing. He had a heart attack thing going on, and I didn't know about it, and I found out about it later, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And he ended up having two, but
wow.
when he shared with me, it was kind of the same thing. His outlook on life was different.
I got to tell you, a lot of times, as Christians, we tend to, because nobody's perfect, right? So we tend to thank God or ask for God when things aren't going well. And sometimes we forget to thank him for the good times and the good stuff. But I got to tell you, laying in that hospital room alone, staring at the ceiling, and the nurse, in my particular situation, the nurse kept coming in and giving me more medication to try to break it. Finally, she said, "It's the last dose. It's not breaking." And that's when it really hit me. I was like, "Oh, well, what's going to happen? This is all new to me." And I'm one of those people that I'm not a control freak, but I like to know what's going on and the unknown.
Same.
And laying there talking to God in that hospital bed, I was like, all right, whatever's going to be is going to be. It's already been written. You know what I mean? I'm just living it. So
yeah. Before I moved out to Alabama, there was an episode that I had early on in the year, January, February time. Actually, it might have been before that. Anyways, I went and shot that Feed to Death movie that I was in.
Yeah.
And I was just acting in it. I didn't direct or anything, but we were out at Mount St. Helens in Washington, and we shot all night. And it was cold weather. We had we had smoke because we had fire, so the smoke was getting in my eyes and all this stuff. So I was using Visine. I don't know if you know anything about Visine.
Very much so.
I'm an idiot. I shouldn't have been using Visine. I was mistaking Visine for liquid tears. Yeah. So Visine dries your eyes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only good for one thing, and that's getting the redness away in a pinch.
Right.
Uh, so what happened is I drove home after we wrapped that film, and I get all the way home, and wake up the next day, and I thought, well, I'm going to get back to editing my own film. So I started editing, and then all of a sudden, the lights, everything started getting blurry to me.
Oh,
And I
wow.
was going, man, what's going on with my eyesight? And I just thought maybe I was getting a migraine. So I just took I rested for a day. And then the next day came around, it started getting worse and I couldn't see. I had blurry vision, both eyes. And this lasted for 6 days.
Oh, wow.
And I was getting scared. I'm like, man,
I would be too.
I was like, what's going on? And we called the advice nurse, because like I don't want to go to the hospital for no reason. You walk in there, you walk out with $400 bill. You can't.
Right. Exactly.
This stuff's expensive.
Absolutely.
And so I understand that. I think everybody can relate to what you were saying about, you're stubborn, but you want to make sure there's something wrong, right? But you don't want to be too late.
That's exactly right.
Long story short, I kept thinking, there was all these other things that it could have been. Like some people were saying I don't remember what it's called, but you can get fluid behind your eyes.
Yeah.
Forever to go away. And
Yep.
I just remember, man, that was the low point for me because there was nothing I could do. I was out of my control. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even watch TV. I couldn't stare at my phone. And what I got out of it was the Lord was going, I need you to take a step back from everything.
Yep.
that was my thing at that time.
Yeah.
And I'm the first one to admit it. And but you know what it was? It was dry eyes.
Oh yeah.
I went in and it slowly went away. And then we had my eyes checked, and then he's like, "You got severe dry eyes, son." And I'm like, "What? Dry eyes? How could you lose your vision in dry eyes?" Like, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I got the liquid tears and got my eyesight back. But
yeah,
that was a
your
scare.
eyes are pretty delicate things, man.
They are. You only get two, right? Let me ask you this about the character Chief Olive, right? Like he's a supporting role, but he's not a nothing burger role. It's a very important role. And I just wanted to know, like, what is your take on this character? Have you actually ever played a character like this, even though you are a police officer? Is this something different? I'd love your take on the whole thing.
I don't know if I've been necessarily typecast somewhat throughout my acting career so far, but I think maybe I relate to those kind of characters because of my job and because of who I am and because I've done it so long. So I've been blessed to play many different versions of officers, detectives, SWAT officers, whatever. And my take on Dan is that he's a lot like myself. I've been that guy, that supervisor just drowning in paperwork. That's, the guy comes in with his, his mess, and you're just like, yes, I've been that guy. So my take on him is that, he's probably had a rough career. He's obviously in a time that no one's seen before. And he's just struggling to get whoever he can get at this point to accomplish whatever mission they're trying to accomplish. And sometimes he has to most of the time, he has to reach outside the box and do something that, you don't think about in today's times, but during that time would kind of make sense because desperation kicks in. And I think he's probably got a good heart, but he's just doing what he has to do, I guess. And he's very blunt and not very forgiving. But maybe there's a softer side of him or something we'll get to see later on. Maybe there'll be a darker side we get to see to him later on. But he just is. He's a necessity or necessary evil, if you will. So we'll see how it plays out. But I'm really digging the character. I like the way he interacts with other people in the script, and I'm looking forward to bringing him to life. I really am.
I'm excited to have you bring him to life. I really am. And I really am.
Thank you.
And that's pretty cool, man. You've actually had other chances to play different kind of police roles, like detectives. You said SWAT. I mean, that's something. And so, like extra, are you doing like extras as playing?
One of my favorite things that I like to do is true crime shows.
Yeah.
So I've been blessed to do Snapped, Fatal Attraction, for the Oxygen Channel and for TV1.
Those are the Knoxville ones, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I've done a bunch of those, and they come naturally to me. A lot of the the crew and the directors and stuff, they're really cool to work with. Especially when they find out you're an actual officer.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I'll get up there, and they're just like, I'm like, all right, there's TV police and there's real police, and trust me when I tell you, they are nowhere near the same a lot of times.
Thank you.
So I'll say, all right, what do you want me to do here? What do you want me to do here? And, obviously I don't want to be micromanaged, but I want to make sure I make them happy. I want to make sure I do what they need me to do. And when they find out that I am a real police, of course, they all know now, but they're like, oh, yeah, just go, man. Just go. So
you bring it to life.
Right. Just be aware of the cameras here, and your other guys are over here, and just go. And I've had so much fun. That's one of my favorite things to do.
Hollywood doesn't always get it right, especially with what's funny is those episodes when we watch those cop shows and stuff, they go so fast.
Yeah.
And it makes it so easy for the audience just to dismiss it and move on. Okay, what's going on? Right. But I love it when guys like you point this stuff out. And I try so hard, man, and I don't always get it right. But I was blessed. My brother-in-law is he just retired. He's career Air Force, and so I'd always ask him, my military questions.
Right.
and then I'd have a connection through a police officer and ask them the law questions. And I tell you, man, because I want to be as accurate as possible.
Absolutely.
You realize a lot of the stuff that they show on TV is not accurate.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, I'm going to have Cammie Miles on here, who's playing AJ. And when I was Zooming with her, she's into like forensic stuff. Like cool. She's got an interesting background and military background. And she said, I watch these crime shows like CSI all the time. They always don't know what they're doing. I was like, oh man, we got to get her to share.
What always kills me is, there's always, and I'm not throwing shade at any of them. They're doing the best they can. But, they have these police advisors on set, and you'll see them entering a building, doing a building search, and they got their weapon like this. And their heads down like this.
Yeah, they do the whole like around the corner thing.
The fingers already on the trigger, they're always doing. And I'm like, no.
No finger on the trigger. Yeah. No, you're right, man.
But just little things like that. So yeah, it's fun to watch sometimes. You know how it is as an actor. Once you've been in front of the camera yourself, and then you don't watch anything the same again, because it's like, what's going on, how they're doing it. And it's like, that was a lot of work.
Man, I would love to get you on. I wish we could. I know that we can't, but I mean, I wish I could get you on all of our action scenes to, for the ones that we have with, guns in. That would be great to have somebody like you.
And whatever I can do to help,
I know enough to be dangerous, but I mean, there's things that you'd be able to call out. Because I don't have that anymore. I had a guy in Oregon that had that background, and he would always correct us on how to hold the gun, like you said.
Yeah.
Finger on the trigger, all that stuff.
Yeah.
What they would say first, like they say in the movie, the TV show, like Chicago PD, Chicago PD before they go in the door.
Yeah. Yep. Awesome. Like I said, TV police and real world police is two totally different animals.
Yeah. So, well, it's a good thing that not all the audience, they're not police officers. So
that's right. That's exactly right.
Some of them are pretty sharp, though. They're like, I don't know if that's how you would do it.
This day and time, they like to pick things apart pretty quick. So
yeah. Well,
but that's the beauty of it, man. When you're watching something, entertainment, you're suspending belief from the get-go anyway. So
yeah. What are you excited about the most doing this project? Other than, I mean, you've done a lot of different things. You play a lot of different characters, but now you're on the After series, and we're blessed to have you. What is it about this project that you're excited about?
I am first and foremost a Christian man.
Same.
I'm a passionate lover of God, and this to me, and I know I've heard you talk about it before. We all of us as Christians, most of us have heard of Chosen, and they're doing phenomenal things, and we're going to do phenomenal things. The fact that this is faith based and it's going to bring, it has the potential to bring an unlimited number of eyes, unlimited number of people to the Lord. I'm most excited about that. The fact that it's a series and it's not gonna be just one and done and we promote it. It's just gonna be another episode, another episode, another episode. It has the potential to reach so many people and really make people think about their future and their salvation. And I'm excited about that. I'm really excited. I'm also excited to network with everybody. Amazing, amazing cast. Wow.
Yeah.
And I've been promoting and sharing and commenting and liking and loving and buying. And I mean, I think I bought everything in the After store.
Hey guys, hey, all you other guys watching, listen to Rick here.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I have literally, I think I've bought everything in the After store. My grandkids wearing it, my daughter's wearing it, my son-in-law's wearing it. I mean, I've got magnets on the truck. You name it, brother.
I'm behind. I gotta get the coffee mug. I need a coffee mug, man. Those are great.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing, that and the blanket. I think I don't have those two, but
that's all right, man. You've already gone beyond.
Hey, man, I'm not tooting. I'm just telling you, I'm all in. I'm one of those people that when I do something, I do it, and I'm all in. So
that's what I like about you, man. Yeah. Your attitude, your charisma, that's why I'm so excited to have you. I would love to have a whole cast full of Ricks.
I appreciate
that. I say that from the bottom of my heart, man. I really felt that way from the first minute that you did your audition, and I was like, man, I like this guy. And I say stuff like that out loud. That's no over exaggeration. I say that. I was like, I like this guy. And hey, honey, and I have my wife check out the audition.
Yeah.
She's like, hey, he's awesome. I said, I like this guy.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
You're contagious, man, and
I appreciate it.
We need that, and I'm excited to have you with us.
No, I'm definitely excited to be here. I can tell you, friends of mine can tell you when I was at work when y'all actually called me or messaged me and said, "Hey, can you talk?" I was like, "Absolutely." Yeah. You know, it's like running off and shut the door and it's like radio down real quiet.
Yeah.
And when y'all came on and said, "Hey, yeah, we'd like to have you," and I'm like,
I'm at work getting this.
Yeah, I was really, really excited and just kind of not shocked, but just in the moment when you told me you wanted to have me on, with the rest of the cast, I was just,
oh man,
I really, really wanted it. So when y'all gave me the role, I was like, wow, yeah, this is it. This is it. So I drove. I can't remember where I went. I was 20 minutes away. I was on the drive after work, and I was just grinning from ear to ear. I was yelling going down the road. Yeah. So
that makes me feel so good, man.
Yeah, I'm so excited. So I can't wait to get started and meet everybody and build that chemistry and get this thing done right, and give y'all the best performance I can possibly give you.
I believe in that. I believe you will. And oh man, it's so humbling to hear you say that, because I always consider myself one of you guys, and I'm no different. But I am the one bringing you guys on, but I can't do it without you guys. And it's so important to me to have the right people and the right cast members. And I do feel blessed that I've gotten some great cast members. And
absolutely, man, I appreciate
so happy to have you.
And I got to tell you, after I've seen before it happen at least 4 times now.
Oh, my man.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I'm sharing it with everybody I can possibly share. You got to watch this. You got to watch this. You got to watch this. Not only to set up the television series, but to just because it's a good movie. But after watching that, it got me fired up. You see, when you started announcing, when you very first started announcing that, the after thing, and I've been there since like right away. Like, all right, I'm on it. I'm on it.
That's
I'm
right.
not letting this pass. And after seeing that movie and you guys, and that y'all were legit, and it wasn't just. Yeah. Unfortunately, we have a lot of people out here that, they kind of use Christianity sometimes for personal gain, and it's sad. It really is. And it's not that I thought that y'all were that way by any means, but when I saw that and the movie and you and talking to you and seeing the post and different things and seeing how genuine everybody is, I just, the longer I've known y'all and seen everything and been involved in everything, the more excited I get.
That means so much to me, Rick.
Absolutely.
Because it does.
You're a good dude, brother.
Oh, thanks, man. The fact that you said that, it's something that is on my heart all the time too, because we do have a lot of wolves in sheep's clothing out there. We do have a lot of people from Hollywood even that want to come over because, hey, they're making money over there.
That's exactly right.
And so the faith-based thing, that's always been a touchy subject for me because I always felt like I didn't belong in either one. I haven't really been accepted on the faith-based side at times. Not talking about all the Christian creators, but there's been times where it's like, they think my stuff is too gritty or real life, and then on the secular side, it's not dark enough, and I'm like, man, I can't find a home. I'm just trying to please the Lord, and so what you're seeing with After, it is real. It's the first thing that I'm doing that it really isn't about me, and it really isn't about lifting myself up as an actor, because as a creator, you can make your own stuff and perform in it. But really, it's like I could retire off this. Like, this is all I care about. Like, if I could make this and keep making it long term, and as long as it's doing its job, and we're all, because it's an ensemble cast, that's what I want.
Right.
I want it because it's not about us. It's the lives of these characters that are going to affect other people's lives that are watching. And
absolutely.
And that's what I'm praying for, because that's what the movie did.
Yeah.
That's what Before It Happened did. And I was like, wow, I made this tiny little film, and, I couldn't get it distributed at the right times, and I had interest, but it wasn't taking. And so when I got it on the Christian Movie site and it took off, and I was seeing all these comments, and I always say this, 90% were good, because there's always a few that are mad doctrinally and they get all upset, but that's okay. There's critics everywhere you go, and it comes with the territory. Yeah. But I was getting some great comments. I was getting emails from people that saw the film and said, hey, I'm in the Philippines. I'm in Puerto Rico. Like, there's actually people over the world that have messaged me and emailed me and said, hey, it really, really had an impact on me. And I was like, dang, this little tiny film.
Yeah.
And then when we had our premiere with that,
mustard seed, brother.
What's that?
Mustard seed.
Yeah, mustard seed. Well, it planted a little seed in my heart, because I was like, I want to keep this going.
Yeah.
And we got something here, and it did take 2 years, because I made a couple movies in between, and it took 2 years, but here we are, and I'm going all in. Like, it's the perfect timing for me.
Yeah.
The world scene, and now I'm in Alabama, and I'm in a place where I can do it. And
absolutely.
So I
just
appreciate
the views on YouTube. Y'all reached a lot of people, man.
Yeah. And then we have our channel, that's the After Series channel.
Yeah.
That's monetized and growing as well every day.
On.
So we're building something.
Yes, we are.
And I'm grateful, man, Rick, that you're a part of it. I mean that.
I'm beyond blessed. I'm beyond blessed and grateful, man. I'm so excited to get started.
Well, I want to ask you a couple questions before we go. I love to ask these questions. So, what if you had a favorite movie that you could watch over and over again, maybe when it comes on? What's your number one? if you have one, a number
Okay,
one.
let's pull back the curtain a little bit here. I'm a little bit of a superhero nerd.
Okay.
I've always, and this is kind of crazy. People laugh at me, and I wish we had time. I'd tell you a really funny story, but
we might.
It's a pretty good one. It's pretty embarrassing, but I'm willing to throw it out there for you. But anyway, I've always been a big Batman fan.
Okay.
Right. Like I don't know why. I was drawn to Batman because he was a real guy. Well, in the story, it's just this normal guy throwing on some rubber and going out there and fixing things, And then when I got into law enforcement myself, it almost feels the same as in the Batman movies. I go in, I open my Bat cave, and I pull my costume out, and off I go to do what I do. So there's and I'm being a little bit facetious here, but still at the same time, there's a realism to it. So Batman Forever and the original Batman with Michael Keaton, those two, for some reason, I could watch over and over and over again. I just love it. I love Batman. So
I like Batman. I
there's
remember
many others. That first one that comes to mind.
No, that's a great pick, and I wouldn't even be ashamed or duck down for that one. That's a good pick. I love Michael Keaton. In fact, I think he's one of the greatest actors.
Yeah, he's a good one.
He's an amazing actor. In fact,
Absolutely.
I didn't appreciate him until later on in life, his older years. He started taking some of these roles on, and I was like, man, this guy. There's something about Michael Keaton that I love to tell people is that he's believable in everything he does.
Absolutely,
I believe that man.
Have you seen him in The Other Guys with Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell?
No, I haven't seen that one.
He played a police captain, and it's a comedy.
I gotta see that.
To see him being funny like that, I mean, he nailed it, man.
Dude, this guy, Michael Keaton, man.
Yeah,
I love Michael Keaton. He's up there for me, like probably top 5. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, he's a good one.
He's amazing, and it's funny because I need to go back and watch those Batmans. With the originals, the Batman 2 with Penguin, and then the Batman Forever. I remember Batman Forever a lot because I was a Jim Carrey fan too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But I need to go back because they just didn't hit me at that time.
Yeah,
I don't know what it was. I think I was more into like Bruce Lee and stuff. Like I was watching Dragon, the Bruce Lee story.
Yeah. That
was about 92. I was 12. We're the same age. So I was into different things. So when the Batman movie came out, I was just like, it's okay. It wasn't until later, like the Dark Knight series, I got into that.
Oh yeah. And I love the Dark Knight series.
Yeah.
Heath Ledger. Wow.
Yeah. Oh man.
Wow. And great Tom Hardy.
There's a great documentary on him called I Am Heath Ledger. It's on the CW. You can watch it free.
Okay.
It's a pretty good story.
Yeah.
But that's just me nerding out. But
hey,
so one more question, my man.
Right.
If you were to act in a scene in the After series with any Hollywood actor or actress, who would it be?
Okay, so I'm going to feel like I'm kind of copying here, okay, because I've seen this. It's been said already, but this is the God's honest truth.
Okay, tell me.
Denzel Washington.
Okay, now give me your why.
I love Denzel. I love the man, the actor. I love everything about Denzel Washington. I'll tell you why, because I feel like if he was sitting across from me, he would snatch the absolute best out of me.
I would agree with that.
And there's no way you can act in a scene with Denzel without feeling him. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I think we're doing right now? We're calling him out.
Hey, Denzel! Hey!
I'm going to do the old Scottie Pippen pointing at his shoe for Michael Jordan.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Come on back, sir.
Definitely Denzel Washington. If I could, I can't really name any others right off the top of my head. I've seen every single thing he's been in. I
appreciate you not holding back. Just telling me the truth.
Well, it's the truth. And he's another one. We were just talking about Michael Keaton. every single thing that I have seen Denzel in, you believe that is who he is. Mm-hmm. From Fences to some of his older stuff to the most recent where he's real. I mean, Training Day, my gosh. Mm-hmm. All the Equalizer movies. Everything about Denzel. And the fact when a camera is stuck in his face, he's not afraid to stay true to the Lord, man. He doesn't shy away.
He's gained the power to do that too.
I saw an interview with Denzel. As you can see, I'm a huge Denzel fan. I saw an interview with him, and I'm sure everyone's probably seen this video by now. And the lady walks up with the camera, and they shove a microphone in his face, and he's on the red carpet, and they ask him something silly. And he says, what a responsibility you all have. He says, see, the media, they don't want to be right. They just want to be first. Mm. He said, if you watch the news, you're misinformed. If you don't watch it, you're uninformed. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Nail, head, boom. I mean,
he's the man.
Everything about Denzel is amazing, man. Yeah. And I hope and pray that I get to meet him someday. If it's on set, great. If it's not, great. I just man to man have a conversation with him because I know I would walk away a better person.
I love that. I'm with you on that, everything you just said. And I think what I'm going to end up doing is the more people that say Denzel's their guy, I'm going to put a compilation together and I'm going to send it to his agent and be like, we need to get this guy on the After series.
Hey, even if he sends us a shout out, man. And, Denzel's an amazing human being. There's no way around it. And I've never seen anyone say publicly anything negative about him.
Yeah, 100. Yeah.
You can't cancel Denzel.
Nah, he come back.
Yeah,
the Equalizer.
That's right. He might hurt you.
Let me end with this last thing here. If there's anything you want to say or share, or anything, you get the last word. Anything you'd like to say before we close out? I
do. I want to thank right here now my mom Nancy, my father Robert, for being all of my friends and family, Scotty Newland, Paul Williams, all of my friends. You know who you are. Terry, Jessica, all of y'all. I love every single one of you. I appreciate all the support. I couldn't do what I do without it because Andrew, this people think we get in front of a camera and say, how hard can it be? We're just playing make believe. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of stress. It's a lot of hours. It's a lot of mental, physical. It's a lot. I appreciate every single one of y'all. Andrew, I appreciate you. Everybody else for this opportunity. Everyone who's given me an opportunity, thank you. Those who passed me up, thank you, because you make me work harder. I appreciate. I tell you, I try to take something good from everyone that I meet and add it to myself, and just kind of keep building and growing and getting wiser and hopefully pleasing the Lord. Although I'm not perfect, I just want to thank every single person who supported me and continues to support me. Y'all know who you are, and I love you with all my heart. And stay tuned. The After series is coming, and we're going to do this thing. So I'm really excited to share this with everybody. And last but not least, certainly not least, I hope and pray that the After series brings as many people to the Lord as humanly possible and entertains you. So we're certainly going to do our best.
There it is. You got the last words, and I'll say it again. I like this guy.
Yeah, I like this guy.
All right, man. Well, thank you all for watching Actors on After. We really appreciate you guys for tuning in. And until we all see you in the next video, thank you so much, and God bless you.
God bless. Thank you.